What's up, everybody? Welcome to our E3 Predictions 2019. I'm here with my co-host, the beautiful blue eyes, Ben Watson.
Hello, how are you today?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good day. It's a hot day. It's pretty good, though.
So far, so good.
Yeah, so good. So good. So, I mean, this E3 is kind of like, it's different. Like, it doesn't have the same feel because, you know, PlayStation's not going to be there. So, like, it was genuinely hard to try to come up with things to,
I agree.
Bring out.
I feel like pretty much everything has already been talked about. I feel like. And
Well,
there's not really anything big going on right now.
When so much is getting leaked, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But in lieu of that, we do have some predictions here. Some of them are I kind of just was like, yep, that seems like it could be there. But some of them, like you said, like, there are some like Gatorade hype moments, but a lot of them, I mean, this decade's been wonderful for video games. I mean, we get Kingdom Hearts 3, we get Final Fantasy VII Remake announced, we have, I mean, literally the only like development hell thing I think we have left is like Half-Life 3. And
I mean,
oh no, that's coming out.
E3, Half-Life 3, what other better time to do it?
No, it'd be 2023 at E3.
Yeah, no, probably. No, it's gonna be 2033. Half-Life 3. Confirmed.
All of the Valve 3s.
That's
so we get Left 4 Dead 3, we get Portal 3, we get Dota 3, we get there's like Gabe Newell's like, yeah, you guys like number 3, here we go.
You just see E3 pop up and it just says Valve, and it's just like it's a Valve 3, and then Valve goes away and it's like just
oh, man.
Going through every
craziness. Well, so I thought today we'd kind of started off like just conference to conference, see what we can find out. We can kind of feel out between each other. That sounded sounded like gross than I thought it was going to.
I'm right there with you, bro.
All right. So I decided to start with Xbox because that's the main focus.
The big
one. I mean, I put a lot of just like third parties in there because you don't have PlayStation to fall back on and be like, oh well, it'll show up here, even though it usually shows up at PlayStation. It has to show up on Xbox now if it does, you know. Yeah. But personally, so I started off with they opened with Halo Infinite gameplay and a loose release date of 2020. I did add that there will be it'll be kind of like not an open world campaign, but like somewhat like a Tomb Raider open world, to where you kind of it's still that linear campaign. It's guiding you places, but you have a little bit of freedom to do like, oh, here's a side quest. Like I think we're just gonna be like on a certain planet, and then the cringy part is like, and the multiplayer is gonna have a battle royale mode.
No, 100% will. I guarantee it.
Like that's.
I'm very excited that it's gonna be focused on Master Chief.
Yeah, I mean, like Halo 5, for all intents and purposes, looked super badass. Like from the way the trailers led us, like Locke and Master Chief having their own dynamic between each other and kind of a rivalry, and it just didn't happen in the game. It just didn't happen in the campaign at all. I will say, however, Halo 5's multiplayer was probably the best in the series, I would say.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I mean, I guess I didn't play it super hardly as much as I did with like Halo 3 and all that, but I think that's just a personal thing.
See, my issue is I don't have a Halo machine. I don't have an Xbox. And so, like, I mean, I've played Halo 5 at people's houses, and I've played it here and there, stop by the Walmart and just, oh, well, they got the Halos, and,
Yep.
But
I think it's also, like, it's indicative of, like, all the kind of, the Game Pass, they just announced the Game Pass is coming to PC, So
Yes.
I think that there's a lot of things that like the Play Anywhere titles are gonna start moving over and kind of have their own place on PC, whether it be Windows opening up the Windows Store, God forbid, or like they do a thing with Steam. I mean, we don't need no more launchers. I mean, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've
As
got
more
like
of the
7
PC
of them
guy,
on my hop.
right?
and,
So,
but yeah, no, for sure. I'm right on board with you. I think they're gonna open up with Halo Infinite, and then I'd like to believe that right after Halo Infinite, they're gonna go straight into Halo Master Chief Collection, and then for PC, well, which we already know is coming.
yeah, I was like, I don't. I mean, again, not a super big PC guy, but didn't that already come out?
Nope. So they started
Oh,
a beta in the Microsoft stores, like
okay.
locally, so you could go into a Microsoft store and you could try it out. But I'm really hoping that E3 pops up because they already have it on Steam. They have the Steam page loaded for MCC, everything. And
That's what it
but
was. I did see the Steam page.
yeah,
I see.
I just really want like it to pop up with Halo Master Chief Collection, PC and everything like that, and then just say available now. And
Yeah. Give me some of those shadow drops. I want
Right.
some hard shadow drops this E3 because obviously we
I
don't have
know.
as big of excitement as we do with things like PlayStation. I mean, even though it's just one press conference, it's a huge loss for it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that there's less to be excited about. Also because like things like Square Enix have announced like, oh, Avengers gonna be there. Well, we know Final Fantasy VII Remake's gonna be there. There's not a lot of super hype things, or we're not even sure like what the
What
Square
to expect
Enix
at all.
pray tells, because like last year was a disaster. Like somehow Square Enix was worse than E3, and I am a huge Square Enix fan. I mean, I'm wearing a Final Fantasy t-shirt right now. Like, but
No, for sure.
I have, this is kind of a big one. It's kind of been throughout the news cycle in this last year rather. Phil Spencer comes out in a Mario t-shirt teasing that there's a big Nintendo collab, but there won't be anything at the Xbox event. It's just the fact that he has that Mario shirt. So that'll come into play.
I'm definitely thinking that too. I'm hoping what it is going to be is Super Smash Ultimate Master Chief.
That would be pretty. I think there's a few running around with Master Chief and then Banjo, which Banjo makes sense, but it'd be super fucking cool that it just
I
have
know.
Master Chief. I don't know, like it just have like a sticky grenade. Do like a Solid Snake thing where they kind of make him a little bit more cartoony, I suppose, but to fit in with everyone. But we've had realistic characters in there now. Like,
Oh yeah.
let's fucking go. Like,
Master Chief would be so much fun on Smash.
yeah.
Just because it's just be a badass guy who's just like.
Well, and there was also those rumors of Doom guy coming, which would fit in line with a Master Chief reveal. I think we're getting some really out of left field news just because it is such a weird E3. But
Yeah, no, for sure.
and then I have Gears 5 gets a October release date. It kind of shows off more of what we're gonna get in the story. My hope is that it kind of does a God of War for the Gears of War series, where it brings it down to a personal level, rather than like Shooty McShooter Pants. As much as I love, like, there are some great parts in Gears 5, where it just like I get lost in the story because like with Dom and Marcus's story, it just that there's the essence there that there wasn't really with God of War, and somehow God of War brought it out and was able to tell this compelling story, and I want that, especially with the way the last Gears of War ended. I think there's a chance that you can kind of take that and almost with like how the villains are, just give a little light to them, give a little like gray area to them. But that's that I'm a huge fan of the Gears of War, but it kind of has fallen off just as much as Halo has, because the rest of the franchise after like 4 wasn't super well received, and I liked it a lot, but not as much as everybody, or not everybody else didn't feel the same way. So I'm hoping we get something more like I can be 10 out of 10. This is amazing. This is one of the best games of all time, like a God of War. So that's just kind of, and we know that we have rumblings that it's coming out sometime this year. And I think October kind of fits with everything that it's set out to do. So,
yep, it'll definitely be fall.
If not, maybe spring. But I'm sticking to. I think October is a fine release date for it. So,
for sure. But no, I 100% agree. Gears of War definitely does need that like moment that that God of War did have.
Mm-hmm.
Like when what was it, 3 years ago when God of War was on E3 and it just started playing out and you're just like, is that Kratos?
So good.
That was
that
such
orchestra.
a hype.
And there I mean, I don't know if you have, but watch there's that Raising Kratos documentary that's on YouTube.
Yes. It's so good. I've watched it.
It's cool to see, like where like I watched E3 to see it from their perspective. Like Cory Barlog had to go in and be like, oh, I'm not actually there because otherwise, this is a God of War game, and how psyched the orchestra was. And if we get that from a Gears of War game and kind of get someone who kind of understands the franchise in a more deeper level than just, like the shooter pants, or like that. Yeah. That's exactly where God of War was. I mean, I remember there was the articles of, is Kratos a redeemable character? Can we make him, any sort of, can we make any sort of story out of him? And with Kratos, really couldn't. But I think with Gears of War, you have that opportunity to be able to make it into a, grounded franchise.
100%.
And I mean, for as much as, like the aliens and stuff go, but make it a smaller story.
I 100% agree.
But and then do you have another?
I'm hoping that we're gonna see a Fable release.
I have that too.
I love the Fable series, one of my favorite series of all time. I definitely think as they progress, they got worse and worse. Mm-hmm. And I'm really hoping that we just get a really good redeeming Fable game.
Back to grassroots.
Nice high graphics, nice, like just like the first one. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, like that was the Fable for me, is the first.
Now, who do you see helming it? Like, what studio would you like to see helming it? I know Rare has been thrown out there. I know that what is the Tune 8 or not Tune 8? One of the Forza Horizon guys were said to be rumored. I think no, because that's an Xbox franchise. Unless, I don't know, but I know I think but I don't think it's likely because they are working on Sea of Thieves. But I think Rare could definitely hit that British wit that Lionhead had. And it is one of those things where you can pick up. You need, like, Fable, for as much as the gameplay is a very hard route into the franchise, I think the wit is even more. The charm of it all is what draws you in, and what can make you care about a Fable franchise in 2019, where an open world is so loosely thrown around nowadays. I mean, you got Horizon, there's the Days Gone that just came out. It's Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox front. It's hard to kind of pick that up. So if you have the charm and be like, okay, we can put this out, and I think that unfortunately, like, things like Crackdown 3 didn't really hit because it didn't have that same charm as the first one. That we were hoping that it did, and with all the delays. So I'm hoping that this kind of brings Xbox back to the back on the map with exclusives, because there's a lot of them that don't really hold up nowadays. I mean, I stand by Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive's an amazing game.
I have not played Sunset yet.
If
It
you
is
like,
on my list.
if you like punk rock music, it's definitely like, especially because then Insomniac was behind it, and they went on to do Spider-Man, which is my second favorite game of 2018.
Oh yeah,
Just wonderful. And then so I have, and I know it's not because they're partnered with Obsidian, but this is before the partnership. But I think Outer Wilds is going to get a November 2019 release date. I don't. It'll get that at the show. I don't think it'll make it. It looks like it's pretty far along from what I've seen. But I think it's hard to say exactly where it falls. And if not that, I would say a spring, maybe let's put a May date on it. And see, but I think at the conference it'll get a November 2019 release date. And I'm really excited for that game because I mean, you put the people behind, the original Fallouts and Fallout New Vegas, and from the gameplay, it looks like those kind of games. It seems to be a little bit smaller in scale than what those games were because it is like I think it's a 30-hour game. I think that's side quests and all. But I'm super excited for it. It's one of my, like, when I saw it at Game Awards, I think it was Game Awards, that it popped up. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is awesome. Like, this is like Borderlands-y, Fallout. It
definitely looks like a lot of fun.
Right.
And, I'm 100% on board again. Like, that's going to be a pushback date, guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna definitely be a push.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that it is one of those things where it's going to fall under. Also, I think I called it Outer Wilds. There's 2 games out that are there's one game out, but there's 2 games out there that are the similar name. There's Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Outer Wilds is what I have written down, but and then do you have another one?
The only other thing I have is I'm suspecting that they might talk about the next gen Xbox.
Yeah. Yep, I have that as well.
I don't think it's going to be this year. It's definitely not going to be this year. It's probably not going to be next year.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be next year?
I bet you it
I
might
think gearing up, dude.
It might be. I don't know. But the thing is, we haven't heard anything about it.
Right, but the way I'm seeing, they're gonna have to be keeping up with things like, because from what I hear, like Stadia, they're doing a similar thing to Stadia, where it's like Project X Cloud, and to be able to run games through streaming and to be able to keep up with that conversation, maybe they do have to release in a, that kind of state. But the rumors are that there's 2 different ones. There's like a disc-based one and streaming one. So we'll see where that ends out.
For sure.
And then go ahead.
I am curious as to because Microsoft just had that partnership with Sony. I'm very curious as to what that is going to mean for the future of consoles.
Yeah.
Because I almost wonder if they're partnering up for maybe like a cross-platform kind of ordeal, so that way to compete against the Stadia.
Yeah.
Because I think the Stadia is going to actually have a big push.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if I'm very curious as to what's going to happen with.
Yeah, I think we're getting closer and closer to a not console-less, but like a more integrated future of games. I mean, just seeing Stadia being a thing, like having a Netflix of games, to be able to play wherever you want. I mean, I think cross save is more important than cross play. Cross play is very important, but like we play The Division on PC. So and there's people that I'd like to play on PS4, and I had to ask hey, I'm gonna buy Division on PC. I want to play, and then I can bring my character over and then bring it back and be like, okay, let's play again. Like, it would also incentivize me to be like, hey, I'm going to think a lot more about buying this on PS4 or buying this on Xbox One, because I do have an install base there with other people that I like to, hang out with, to kind of coexist, like the one thing we've been bringing up throughout this entire, I mean, it's been decades that we've talked about, like, oh man, can't we just get all along, and
exactly.
It'd be super dope.
I do think the Stadia is really going to push that, because I think that it's going to force Microsoft and Sony to have to kind of step up their game and really make their systems look more appealing.
Right.
Because having a monthly subscription to almost an unlimited amount of games is very appealing to a lot of people.
And Game Pass has that already going. And if the Game Pass is able to do streaming as well and do it at the rate that Stadia is doing, they have a hit on their hands. I mean, I don't play my Xbox much anymore, but it's not for a lack of not wanting to, like it's one of those things where it's just like I just enjoy playing my PS4 more, but sure. I'm looking forward to, I just want Xbox to be able to be the Titan that it was again, and to be able to have those games. Like Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises. Halo was for the longest time, but it's there's a lot of kind of dropping things, even though for all the good they're doing, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna in 2019 I'm going to play my Xbox, or when it's not hooked up, play my Xbox One, but I mean that's also a lazy thing on my part, but
no, for sure. And I am excited because like Bungie right now, that's what they're doing with Destiny 2. They're making it so that all the saves are,
and that's amazing for
it's
going on, like what we're talking about with Division, like online play. Like I can't tell you how much I want my skins from Overwatch on Xbox, because I started on Xbox, to be on PC, because then I would be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go in between both of them and be able to have the same stuff that I do. And I'm like, it just doesn't make sense for me to be like, oh, well, I have this skin on PC, but I have this skin on Xbox. Like I just don't feel like that's that hard. But I mean, I'm not a game developer either, so
no, 100%. In our eyes, we're just like, just do it.
Just
not
give
biggie.
it to us.
Well, because I'm very curious as to if the issue with that has always been, Sony and Microsoft's file formats and everything like that. They just are purposely uncompatible, and I'm really hoping that it is something like that. And with the partnership, it can really unite that.
Yeah. I think it's exciting for sure. I think that the cross progression is only a matter of time before it happens, and I mean, it's an exciting new frontier that we're coming on, with everything coming up. I just only wish that, internet was a utility or something, like I have a data cap right now, and it's hard to be like, oh, I'm going to upload videos and play online games. Like it's just a reality. But anyways, so what I am also predicting, and is, I hope it happens. I hope it does, because we've been talking about this for quite a few press conferences. But I think Ori 2, I think it's Will of the Wisps, shadow drops at the conference, $19.99. Buy it after the conference. Ori is one of those exclusives from Microsoft that I really like. I mean, I'm a huge Metroidvania guy. And it's sad to see, like, oh, I forget about it sometimes, because I'm like, Sunset Overdrive is the best game, and I'm like, oh, but Ori's really good. Ugh.
It's because it's kind of almost non-existent,
right? And I think that this will give it a push that it needs, and be like, yep, and you can get it now, and then people will actually check it out, and we'll be talking about it, and it'll be in the conversation, maybe come Game of the Year. But that's 100%. Kind of a tinier prediction. My big prediction, though, because Rocksteady, at the time of recording, has still said that they're not coming to E3. However, we got our fans lacking a Batman game, or a DC game in general. However, WB Montreal, who worked on Origins, has been also working on things, and I think that will be a Batman game. And the rumor is Court of Owls, which would be really cool. Batman Beyond would be cool as like a spin-off, so that Montreal could do that, and then Rocksteady could do another Batman. I mean, there's rumors all over the place. There's rumors that it was a Suicide Squad game at one point. It was a Justice League game. It was, it's another Batman game, and it's kind of been floating all over the place. And I'm just, man, like, especially with playing Spider-Man last year, like, I'm jonesing for some more superhero games. Like, just give them to me, and that'll come up more later in the predictions as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another dream, and I have a few Capcom ones here. Dragon's Dogma 2 is announced, and we have full co-op with pawn support. Like, just give it to me already, Capcom. You've already made so many good, like, Resident Evil 2 in a year where Kingdom Hearts 3 is a thing. Resident Evil 2 Remake is my favorite game of the year. How did that happen? It's and they've made so good on their old franchises. I mean, you look at Resident Evil, Devil May Cry just came back. Just give me what I want. Just give me what I want. And then in the background, maybe work on Dead Rising a little bit, but we'll get there. That seems like a bigger jump, but especially with the Dark Arisen coming out on Switch, and the recent remasters, I think we're ready to get some more from this universe. I think it's super cool. It kind of in that Monster Hunter style where you can like climb up stuff. And I mean, it's also like, I mean, I remember back in the day comparing, because I hadn't played Monster Hunter, compared to Shadow Colossus, but like Skyrim. And it's just like such a unique world, and I think we need that in this ecosystem right now. I think it will be, even if it's announced though, I do think it'll be at a couple press conferences.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but that's a Gatorade get hype moment for sure.
I'm very curious. That would be awesome if there was a Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we haven't heard anything about anything like that. And you're 100% right. It will be years before we see that game.
Yeah.
Because they haven't started developing it yet.
Oh,
they opened up Photoshop and made a title sequence.
Right. I guess it's possible, but I mean, I don't see much of anything being quite done, especially since we haven't heard anything about it. But I feel like they're definitely working on it. I just feel it in my veins. I feel it in my fucking veins. I just want it to be. Come on, Capcom. Give me good.
Deep
down. And then I also, keeping on the Capcom train, I also have Resident Evil 2 DLC, huge DLC. It's a never before explored part, and we have it leading up to a Resident Evil 3 remake. Like, they won't show Resident Evil 3 remake there, but it'll be like the lead up and just kind of hint that, hey, maybe we'll do this. Maybe you like this DLC, maybe we'll do this. I mean, they've already kind of hinted about it. But with them not showing Resident Evil 3 remake there, they will show Resident Evil 8. And I think that's your January title. That's where you pick it up. And the kind of the format's already there. But I mean, we've had Resident Evils these past few years. So this year's been Resident Evil 2, and then last year was 2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah. So, but I mean, still, like, I think that there's a reveal. I think if anything happens, like, just give me some more Resident Evil. Like, the way they brought back Resident Evil is so good. I mean, I brought back to when I was a kid and would want to play Resident Evil 4, but like, oh no, I can't do this. Oh no, I'm gonna shit my pants. Oh no, like, and I did that for years, and it was just till last year that I played through it. I was like, oh my god, like, just there, especially like Jack being this kind of omnipotent force in it, in like a Texas Chainsaw kind of way. I'm like, oh my god, and I just need it. I need it again. Give me more. Resident Evil is at a peak point again, and I'm excited to see what comes next. And then also on here I have FromSoft will announce their new IP in collab with George R.R. Martin. Now, this has been rumored. This is a pretty like safe prediction, because this has been rumored for pretty good, pretty good amount of time. I mean, it started way back, but it really picked up just recently since the Game of Thrones hype and all that. But he's on an interview like, I had to go to Japan for consulting on a video game. It's like, oh yeah, what are they talking about? Oh, Japan for a video game. I mean, anything is possible, but we know FromSoft is kind of working in the background on something, and there's already been rumors of him collaborating with them. So it's only a matter of time, it seems. But I'm hella excited. We're gonna get something special with this, I think. Especially with Sekiro coming out. And then Cyberpunk is shown off. I'm just gonna kind of breeze past this, but Cyberpunk is shown off again. Release window of early 2020. I think we're gonna hit the same about May release like we did with Witcher, and kind of hit that nice sweet spot. And then my final announcement, my final prediction is that Halo or Xbox comes out and is like, okay, we're finally done, and I just want to let you know that all of these games, all of these first party games, I'm teetering between all of these games or all these first party games, but all these games were shown running on the next gen hardware. And then they announce what it's going to be called. I think we're going to get that, and that's it. I think in early 2020 we'll get actual announcement of what the specs are and what we're getting.
What do you think they're going to call the new X?
I don't know, man. I don't know, because you can't call it 2. You can't call it 720. I don't know. I think that there's something.
I have 2 theories.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be the Xbox Next.
Oh, okay.
Either that, or they're just gonna go back to just Xbox.
See, I don't like the second one, because then you're feeding into what Xbox One was like. Oh yeah, I played it on the Xbox One. Oh, you mean the one that released in the early 2000s? No, the one that released in 2013. It is one of those confusing things. The Xbox Next though, I do kind of like that. The way that sounds. Oh, and one more thing, and we get the Halo or the Harry Potter RPG that was leaked. This is the Gatorade get hype moment. Was leaked earlier last year, and it is everything we ever wanted. You're gonna be hooking up with people. You're gonna be learning magic. You're gonna learn your aardvarks, Aardvarkadabras, and it's gonna be fucking cool. Just give it, man. Just fucking get it. But
we can hope.
Yeah, one can hope. And then that moves us on to Bethesda. And I think, do you want to start?
Well, we know for a fact Doom Eternal is going to be.
Yeah.
Which I love the Doom series.
Mm-hmm. Especially with this 2016 reboot was amazing.
With how high quality everything has been and how gory and just it's just such a beautiful, fun game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna have the VR support and everything like that, 100%. And I'm very, very excited for Doom. But I think one thing I would like to see from Bethesda that I'm not sure if we will is more on Starfield.
Yeah,
because all they did is it was just a quick flat.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, there's got to be more, and I'm not sure if we'll see it, but I want to know because I love space games. I love that kind of anything really space oriented, but I'm really hoping it's kind of like an RPG feel to it, kind of like a maybe kind of Star Citizen-ish, Elite Dangerous kind of feel to it.
About just Fallout-y, like I think.
Yeah, So hopeful.
I think this could be like the Prey 2 I really wanted back in the day. I hope so.
Oh
My
I'm
God,
hoping.
if he could be a fucking bounty hunter in this game, oh my God. No, so uh, I I was teetering on putting this on my list. I know that they've said like, oh, it probably won't be at E3, you know, but I don't know if they've ever confirmed it. So, but yeah, I think that's the most exciting IP that they have going right now, just because it's Bethesda and they can kind of do anything they want with it. They can make it, you know, this spacey Fallout Prey 2 type game that we really wanted all this time. Even you just gave us Prey, not Prey 2. But
and then
go ahead.
didn't they like start to show off a Prey game, but it was like completely different?
Yeah. So Prey 2 is what I'm talking about, because Prey 2 isn't the one that came out. The second Prey 2017, is like a Bioshocky type game.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. Like it's just not the bounty hunter Boba Fett game that I wanted, you know. But I don't know. It's an exciting prospect for sure. And then I have because what's his name? The director of Resident Evil 4, Shinji Mikami, that's his name. He has teased that he was going to be at E3. So I think that Evil Within 3 is all but confirmed at this point.
Ooh.
And
I never thought about that.
Love me some Evil Within 2. Love me some Evil Within 1. Give me that 3. Round out the trilogy. That's all I ask. I don't need any more. Just give me that. I'll be good. My soul will be pure. But I do. So kind of transitioning back a little bit is where I think they're going to open up and do a Fallout 76 apology and be like, listen, like, we're sorry, we know we fucked up. And then they'll like kind of a cringy but still funny opening where it's just like, we got all these bugs, you know, we was a little buggy at launch, and then there's just like all these extreme bugs that are just like flopping out and you know, game crashing and all that. Like but they'll be like, but we've heard you, and we have this new expansion, and it brings everything that you could have wanted in the base game, and it's free because they've already announced that all their expansions are going to be free, and we're going to get NPCs, we're going to get, you know, all these, we're going to get a traditional Fallout game but online, where you get what people expected from that game. I don't, that part is a Gatorade get hype moment, but
that's 100% a Gatorade get hype.
But I do think that they're gonna apologize for Fallout 76. Not apologize, but like be like, yeah, well, some games have not been performing as well as others, you know, like that sort of thing. Like they'll bring it up. It's hard not to, it's the elephant in the room. It's hard not to bring it up.
They have to address it. If they don't address it.
And
I mean, they've had a couple like press statements saying stuff, but they really haven't like come out and really talked.
Right. And I think that they're going to be like, I mean, we didn't do very well, but not as bad as some. And then kind of allude to Anthem's launch, you know, and just kind of do a quick jab, which would kind of be an asshole move, but it makes sense, unfortunately.
No, Anthem.
Yeah, it didn't hit the mark. And then, so you have another prediction?
I would love to see Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think we would.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much, like, I think the only reason that it was in last E3's last Bethesda's press conference is that it was like, oh, we need something. We're just gonna put this in, boop boop boop, you know, and they're like, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. Oh, Elder Scrolls 6. Oh, look at that, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is like a 2023 game. Maybe maybe 2022, 2021, but like I think it's far off.
Don't get me wrong. I would be so giddy if they just start showing gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6.
We all would.
And it's just a gorgeous like Oblivion Skyrim mix with co-op.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Ooh. We're gonna run down the Fallout 76 train. Good co-op.
Oh man. I mean, because in my opinion, ESO was a total
right.
and I think they learned a lot from Fallout 76, and I do hope that they do include some sort of co-op in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. Some sort of form of like, you know, like a connection even, you know. But yeah, I think they've already said that Starfield is coming first, so I honestly don't think that that's going to be like at least at the very least a 2022 game.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But
it's only like 3 years away. It sounds like futuristic, but we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, I think definitely Elder Scrolls 6 and more than likely Starfield are both going to be next gen consoles. And I think that's probably a big reason as to why we only got title sequences for them is because they are waiting to build it on the next gen hardware.
Yeah, I think that's another thing is that I don't think we're going to see Starfield soon either, just because they are working on those new projects on the Xbox 2s or the PS5s of the world or the Stadias even. But I mean, I guess there's not much to work on with Stadia. It's just a thing. But you know, like the next gen hardware in general. Yeah, I think that it's definitely a sign, especially with this E3 being as we don't know, but as lackluster as it is, that we're kind of nearing the end of our run of consoles at this point. And with all these developments, it's an exciting future too.
Yeah.
But then the last thing for Bethesda that I have, and this one is like, yeah, it probably happened at some point. But is a Fallout collection for Switch. So you get you don't get 4, but you do get 3 in New Vegas on Switch. And you can buy them separately. They are available at the end of the year. I'm gonna say December. They're gonna be like real, like we're gonna toss it out there. If you pick it up, good. Not whatever.
They're gonna both be about $40.
Yep. And I think that there's gonna be amiibo support like there was for Skyrim. And you know, I don't know what there you. Okay, I got one. You get the Metroid Prime costume as amiibo.
Probably. Yeah, you load up the amiibo and then you're running around as Metroid.
Yeah.
100%.
So
I could see it. I could 100%.
Yep.
And then,
do you have anything left over?
I'm sure we're gonna see Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yes. Yes.
I'm hoping it's like done.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think it's coming out here soon. I think it's not like a July, but yeah, I think.
Did they actually announce a release date?
I think they did.
See, I didn't
really
think
know,
so.
but yeah,
I do hope to see a bit more about it because we've seen very little.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the rest that I have for Bethesda.
Yeah. And then we're gonna run right over to Square Enix's press conference. I believe this is my center point because I believe because Final Fantasy 15 was such a departure for this series and fans were crying out. I mean, I liked Final Fantasy 15 enough. It's not one of my favorites, and I know people do regard it as one of their favorites. I do like the more traditional style. Like my favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy 9. It's medieval. It's back to the roots. It's everything. I think instead of Final Fantasy 16 being like that, it's going to be a Final Fantasy spin-off series, kind of like how they're doing with Resident Evil, and that like the first person and then the third person be the remakes. Is the Final Fantasy spin-off, and it'll be more traditional. It'll kind of be set in a medieval style, but not super in-depth medieval. Maybe like a cross between where Final Fantasy 7 went and Final Fantasy 3 went. You know, kind of a mesh between the two.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
See, unfortunately, I can't contribute a whole lot to that because I haven't played like any of the Final Fantasy.
Right, and that's
a little bit.
I'm the JRPG guy. Like I cannot wait. I'm playing World of Final Fantasy right now, and I'm just like, man, this is so dopey and anime as shit, but do I love it, you know? But yeah, I'm really excited to see where that's gonna come or where that's gonna fall. If we, I think that we're going to get a Final Fantasy 16 release here because this is the longest it's been since it's been announced. Given probably won't be released until like 2030, but it'll it'll be pretty cool. I think it'll be closer to what fans want, or the hardcore fans wanted. It's just, as a spin-off. I don't think that they're ready to be like, oh, Final Fantasy 16, even though Final Fantasy 15 was for everyone, we're gonna be like, oh, screw you, we're just gonna do it for the hardcore fans. Because I think there does need to be a gap of like, oh, this is this and this is that. Yeah. But I do think we need to see another Final Fantasy.
I could definitely see that they announced a remake as well.
With Final Fantasy 7 coming out?
What was that?
With Final Fantasy 7 coming out? You're saying a remake? You mean spinoff?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
because
I mean, I guess.
You just completely threw me off because I forgot. Again, yeah. I'm not very cultured in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. It's fine. No. And then I do think Octopath 2 will be announced, and it will be for everything, given as we just got the news that, or I think it just released, Octopath is releasing on PC.
Yep.
So we'll get that the exclusivity is kind of going to end. But, however, from that same studio, I believe, that it's Bravely Default, we're going to get a Bravely Default collection coming to Switch in 2019. And I know, as someone who doesn't really, know Final Fantasy, probably know nothing about Bravely Default, but just it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. It's traditional. We're gonna go back to it. We're just gonna get it and gauge how people want it. What's the hype levels for it? I mean, I never beat it on 3DS, and I don't really want to go back to 3DS, so that's where I stand. And then we'll toss it back over to you.
I mean, the only thing I've got for Square Enix is the hype train, Marvel's Avengers.
Okay, so we'll move on to that with both of us, because that's my next thing too. What do you think? What do you see the gameplay being? What is the gameplay?
I'm hoping it's very like Spider-Man-ish, very like that open world feel, and I'm hoping that like it's like kind of like how like Disney Infinity was, where like you'd choose your hero and you'd go on quests and missions, and it would kind of fuel the missions for the other characters and stuff like that. Where you do have to pop between characters and not necessarily like interchange or anything like that.
Right.
I'm so excited. The only thing I'm really hoping that they don't go like super cartoony, super rated E. I'm hoping for something a bit kind of bloody, a bit, intense.
Back to where we're going. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We had a bit of lag. So back to what we were saying with Avengers. I had a hard time trying to figure out what the gameplay would be. I mean, I know we've been told it's going to be a Destiny-like, or it's going to be this shared world experience. So I kind of ran with that, and it's going to be cut. Like, I've heard like the customization is going to be a big thing, but I say that Avengers will be a connected world game where you can create your own character and you are the Avengers. Like, the Avengers have been taken down by like a Galactus or a Doctor Doom and Thanos, and you are the new class. And I think that could be something that's cool. And you choose your superpower, but I'm just like, I don't know what it could be. That's what excites me so much. Is like it could be a single player, be like, yeah, what's up? We're the Avengers. We're coming in, getting you, But I do think
there's so much room for potential.
I know.
And it could either be great or it could be terrible.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I'm just like, man, how are they gonna do this? Like, it could be super lackluster, but it could be like,
I
but I expect Crystal Dynamics to do good because I mean, the Tomb Raider series is really cool.
wait.
But it's a big undertaking for them, to be. But same thing with Insomniac. Like, Insomniac's biggest thing I think they did was like Spyro, or I mean, Sunset Overdrive. They did, before Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man game. I think that that's something that's just really exciting, and I do think that there's a potential. So I think people can be villains, if they want, and there'll be like a PvP section of the game. So then you can kind of be like, oh, I'm gonna be a shithole, and turn back and forth.
Do you think it's gonna be like a kind of MMO kind of style then?
Kind of like less than MMO, more of like Division Destiny type.
Right.
So like a shared world sort of game, and I think that we're going to get a fall 2020 release.
Definitely 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I would be super excited if we get it, but I think with the rumors running around and games as a service being as big as they are, I think that we're gonna find that it's gonna fall either place. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be cool nonetheless to see it. And then for Final Fantasy VII Remake will be revealed. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 is announced. It'll release January 2020. There will be 3 separate episodes. Only reason that there's 3 separate episodes is that there's additional content in each episode than what the original game had. And it's going to be very oblivious to when these next episodes are going to be released. They've already said it's still going to be episodic, which kind of hurts me a little bit, because then it's like, how do you keep going? Like, how do you keep that momentum going? I mean, especially after Final Fantasy 15, where I played Final Fantasy 15, I was like, this is amazing, I love it, when I was playing it, and then after, like, a month after, I'm like, yep, I don't need to go back for episode prompto, or, even though I loved those characters, it was hard to come back from it, especially when I had so much time away from it. And then I think that they will, and this is kind of out of order, but they will tease the next big expansion for Kingdom Hearts 3, and it lead more into the story of where Kingdom Hearts is going. I think you're gonna play as everyone except Sora, because I think that was a huge discourse as to what was in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, to me, I had the thoughts of like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3, we're gonna play as Kairi, we're gonna play as Riku, we're gonna play as Aqua, we're gonna play as Xion, we're gonna play as anybody we want at this point. Like, and it was like, oh, we're Sora like 85% of the game, and then we're Riku for like 2% of the game. Like, it not that it was disappointing, that fact, but it was just like, oh, we're not doing this. I thought since it was an epic showdown, we're like, oh, we're gonna have to jump cut to everybody, what everyone's doing, and
if only.
If only. But I mean, in the same breath, it wasn't disappointing. Like, it was still a good game. It just, I don't think it led like how Avengers Endgame ended, where it's just like, oh, this is the best possible ending. Even though it actually comparable to Avengers, where it's not the end of the series, but it's the end of the saga that they've been telling for over this last almost 20 years. Jesus, I'm old.
Our whole lives.
Right, exactly. Like, oh man, I was like 6 when the first one came out, so 24 now, so it's just okay. Then we'll move over. I think we're gonna move on to Ubisoft.
Oh yeah.
I believe that they will unveil their new Ubisoft cross Nintendo game. I think it is likely just going to be Rabbids 2 though, because Rabbids 1 was such a big hit for them, especially with Rabbids being not a very huge property at the time. And I think that's just an easy route to go. I think it'd be cool to get like, oh, Ubisoft is working on F-Zero, Ubisoft is working on Star Fox, or Ubisoft is working on, but I think it's going to be much more tame than that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then we'll pass it on to you. Have anything?
I definitely think that one of their big focal points is going to be the new Ghost Recon.
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
because that game looks incredible. We've only seen such a little portion of it, but it
Mm-hmm.
looks like I want it. Like it's been a while since there's been a game where it's just like you see that little bit and you get like those kind of like butterflies where you're like, I want to play that game right
Yeah,
now.
like goosebumps.
And I do get that when I watch the trailer for it's Breakpoint, right?
Yeah, Breakpoint. I think that's the name. That sounds about right.
But so I definitely think that that's going to be a big focus, and I think it's probably not going to be released this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably going to be early next.
I think that might already have a release date. Maybe.
Does it?
I think it does.
No, I'm googling this right
Google
now
that.
because I didn't think it did.
I think it
I
does. I don't know.
If it has a release date, I'm gonna be really hyped.
Yeah.
It has a release date for October 4th, 2019.
I was gonna say, I think October. Yeah, get the hype.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, so that does make me very excited. I didn't realize they had a release date already.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, I definitely think we'll see more for that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious to see more mechanics towards it because all we've seen is just people ducking behind trees and like cool story elements.
Basically, like Wildlands again, but
yeah,
I mean with the Punisher in it, like that's fucking awesome.
And
I think I'm gonna speed this along a little bit. I think that there's going to be a new Rayman game revealed, and it'll be back to the 3D platforming style. And they'll kind of do like a kind of a cel shaded look and keep with a similar art style as similar as they can with like Origins and what's the other one? Origins and Legends. Keep that similar style but in a 3D world and keep those characters in there. I think they'll that's where I started my Rayman journey, and I love that those 3D platformers are really near and dear to my heart.
No, 100%. Rayman's a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
that'd be a good guess, I'd say, because I know they have 3 unconfirmed games that they're going to be bringing.
Right.
And I think that the third one to go along with the other 2 is Splinter Cell.
I had that as well. Yep.
Yes. Oh man, I really hope to see a Splinter Cell game.
We're just gonna get up.
I know.
Michael Ironside comes on. All right, it's time to go. Like,
and that's gonna be it. And it's just gonna cut Splinter Cell.
Yep.
Tom Clancy's, and then it's just gonna be, and that's gonna be it. And everyone's gonna be like, woo, because we haven't had a Splinter Cell in a long.
Right.
And Splinter Cell was such a big game, honestly.
Right.
Like I remember, like when I was a kid, I would go to the Family Video and I'd rent all the Splinter Cells, and I'd just rent them back and forth. Right. I loved them. And I don't know. I'm very excited, and I'm really hoping it is a Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's gonna be, especially with all the teases we've had. I'm gonna switch over to mine. I think that Assassin's Creed Ragnarok will be teased, the Viking Assassin's Creed game. We won't see any gameplay, and it'll also be on the bookend of them revealing what the next DLC for Odyssey will be, to keep that in our minds. And that, I mean, Odyssey was my top, I think it's 5th game of the year, and I 100% I platinumed it the other day. It's just wonderful. If they make that with thank you. I think if they keep with the style that they have going, it's just a very exciting new take on it all.
Yep.
And
then we'll
definitely
see Watch Dogs Legion.
Yep. I think that's already been teased. What do you think is the release date for that?
I honestly have no clue, because they could be very far in it, or they could not be far at all.
Yeah.
And
I think
because all we really know is it's in London.
Yeah. I think that it's gonna be a November release date. I want to say it sounds about right. So? Yeah,
this year?
Yeah, I think so. Because Assassin's Creed was last year. We're getting another Assassin's Creed this next year. It kind of falls in line, I'd say. And then I definitely think we're just gonna see like a good snippet of gameplay and be like, yeah, it's coming out in a couple months. Yeah, have a good one. And I think it's gonna be. I personally think it's gonna be lackluster from some of the leaked screens that we see. I'm like, oh, it kind of comes back to like the old, like the Watch Dogs 1's style where it's just like, oh yeah, dark and brooding. Like where Watch Dogs 2 was such a breath of fresh air because it was like hackers, like it was just it's cool.
I am hoping that there's kind of like a cross between the two,
right,
and it's kind of like a bit more serious, but then again, it's more like we are hackers and you customize, and more of like the hacker feel versus like this dark trench coat guy,
right,
but more serious.
I'm gonna speed it along a little bit because we're a bit long in the tooth. Do you have any others for Ubisoft? You put big ones? I just had Skull and Bones will be there. Gameplay was shown. It's going to be more akin to Assassin's Creed 4 than the previous trailers where it was just ships. That one's still, I think that one was pushed to 2020 anyways. So then let's move over to our last press conference, Nintendo. And I know you had some others from that, or others that you wanted to show. We'll just go back past those, but we'll gonna stick here. I think that Metroid Prime Trilogy will be remastered, will be announced. It will be official, and it will have a release this fall. I have never played the trilogy. I really like the Super Metroid style and Zero Mission and all that. Super cool. And then we'll pass it on to you if you have anything.
Definitely going to see the new Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, I do have that. Yep.
And then I have no clue what to expect from the new Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's completely up in the air.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, like you've said in the past before, where I think we're gonna get a very like just bland Animal Crossing game, but I hope we get like something that's like cross world, where it's just like, oh, it coexists in the same town, and when I'm away, you can clean up the town. When you're away, I can clean up the town. I think it's going to be so cool. I personally think it's going to launch August. I have a hard date for this. I think it's going to launch August 30th, 2019. Perfect date. You got a couple weeks before anything really comes out where, like Borderlands 3 doesn't come out, and it's not even the same audience, but Borderlands 3 doesn't come out for another couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
So then I will say that Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is another like JRPG, this is a little bit quick one. That was a Wii U game that I really loved. Will be ported to Switch. It will be early 2020. I'm gonna say January. I think that's a good release, and people have been asking for it, and so many Wii U games have been ported over. It'd be cool to kind of check out and see that being, kind of there.
For sure.
And then I'll toss it back over to you.
I actually don't have anything else.
Oh, okay. I will lead this out then. So, I will believe that NES and N64 games are coming to the online service. I think some NES games are coming after the conference. Very little, like 1 or 2. So they'll start after the conference, coming out every month. And the N64 is at a later date. They won't give us any kind of time period, but they will say, hey, it's coming. Like, we're going to make this a virtual console, which I think that'll be amazing. Huge. Like, that's huge. That's what they're missing right now when they had with, like, the Wii U and all that. It's hard. It sucks that you can't just own the games, which, like, the old ones, but, what can you do? I have Mother 3, which is Earthbound. Been hinted at. It's like Earthbound sequel that was never released. Is going to be shadow dropped. It will be released that day for $20. Luigi's Mansion 3 will have an October 2019 release date. I think that fits with the spooky theme of it all, Ghostbusters-y, that sort of thing. And then my Gatorade Get Hype moment. This is what we call in the business a callback. Phil Spencer comes out. Hey guys, what's up? He has Master Chief on his t-shirt. It's like, oh, he doesn't have a Mario t-shirt. That's weird. He had it earlier in the other press conference. I do think one of the things, I think you were talking about it earlier, is Master Chief coming to Switch. Or not Master Chief coming to Switch. Master Chief coming to Smash. He's just Master Chief. You can play around with his model. No, and then we are going to see. He's like also something we revealed earlier this week or weekend, is that Ori is coming out. Ori Will of the Wisp is comes out on Xbox. We're porting over Ori on Nintendo Switch. And then the Will of the Wisp will come out at a later date, not shown. And then, not done yet, Papa Spencer comes out and be like, and Xbox Live is on Nintendo Switch. It's been rumored. Well, not Xbox Live, Game Pass.
Right.
Game Pass will be on Switch, and you get all these. Not all the games that are on Game Pass obviously will be compatible, but that's where your streaming comes in. That's we'll be able to stream Xbox games on Switch.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, I think it's been hinted at. I don't think we're quite there, but that is the Gatorade get hype moment. It's one of those things where you would never think in 1,000 years, but it's coming there. It's going, man. Like, we're getting there, especially with all the streaming and everything, and with the coexisting. I think Xbox is gonna kind of want to be less of a console than it is a platform. I think that they'll thrive with that.
For sure.
And then we'll move it over after bringing the hype. We'll move it over to the other. Do you have anything else you'd want to talk about?
I've got a couple other things. I think we're going to see Baldur's Gate 3.
That was announced at Stadia.
Yes.
But you're saying more gameplay.
I have a feeling we're going to see more gameplay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And that's like
because
where you see that.
Really anything.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that we see like actually what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And more just gameplay.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I think is we're going to see Trine 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Other than that,
that is where you hit my down point, because I know nothing about Baldur's Gate. I mean, I do. I mean, obviously D&D, but I know not a lot about Baldur's Gate. I know like the Divinity guys are going to be doing it. And then Trine, I've never played. I've always heard they're good games, but
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The third one, they kind of experimented with 3D, and it kind of but Trine 4 is supposed to be 2D again, and I'm excited for it because I played both the other Trines, and they're great couch co-op games, and like perfect for like laying in bed on the Steam Link, grab a couple controllers and just relax. Just
go.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I can think of is Netflix's games will be revealed.
Oh yeah.
I think it's hard to pinpoint where they'll be. I think they'll be spread out within each conference. So they'll start with Xbox and be like, hey, you know, an Xbox studio is working on Altered Carbon game, and then a Nintendo studio is working on a Stranger Things game. Like they're just spreading out the licenses to each one of those. I think it'll lend well to kind of like what Marvel's doing right now. Is like Insomniac gets Spider-Man, Avengers gets like Crystal Dynamics, you know, and I think that'll kind of spread the brand. And Netflix has been wanting to branch out, and they've already talked about wanting to make their brands more in video games. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I think that does it for this podcast. E3 2019 coming up. Actually, starting tomorrow. We didn't even talk about EA, but EA doesn't really have a set press conference. So they just have, you know, they're talking about Jedi Fallen Order, which looks cool, and then like The Sims 4. Like what, you know? But
where's Sims 5?
Right, exactly. Like I don't understand, like there's like obviously sports games, but at least this year they gave us a currency like, yeah, we're not gonna have a TV. Call of Duty. I think that at least they gave us a, you know, like, you are going to have Jedi Fallen Order at this point. You're going to have FIFA at this point. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to tune in this point. Bye.
Yep.
You know, so, but with that brings us to our end of the show. We're wrapping it up. Thank you for joining us. If you want to follow the channel, we're at Shotgun Mcpayne. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTuber shit. Ring that bell. Anyways, so until next time. Love you.